Hi, ladies and gentlemen, Murray Hamburg here again. The topic that I'm going to be discussing in this video is investing in the stock market and occult involvement thereof. Okay, an interesting idea that one might have is to use one's occult faculties or one's occult skills. For example, me as a magician using my occult skills and proficiency in making a lot of money and becoming fabulously wealthy via the stock market or via stock market investments. I don't know, maybe I'm sure that some people out there have thought of it, and it has also been no different for me, and not just now or recently. This is something that briefly crossed my mind a good while ago. Let's just say a year ago, half a year ago, between half a year and a year ago. But I brushed off the idea and I never took it seriously. Because it's somewhat similar to gambling. Okay, I already have an article on using the occult for gambling purposes, and again, you can look on my website or my YouTube channel for that. I'm not sure if I already have a video for that, but in any case, either one of the two. If it's not on my channel, then just seek out my website. Just go to my website and use the search bar to look up, for example, gambling, a keyword, and then you should find it. In any case, I'm going to discuss stock market investments. It is realistically possible to use one occult proficiency to become incredibly wealthy via the stock market and stock market investments. Okay. The first ideas that come to mind for me, let's just say if I were to go about doing something like that, I were to invest in a startup company, okay, or any company. If I were to buy stocks either locally or internationally, it does not matter. Let's just say I make the decision to become a businessman, okay, and as an occultist, and I start buying up stock. Okay, I use all of my savings. Not that I have any savings, not that I need them, but metaphorically speaking or hypothetically speaking, I use my savings and the money that I have on hand to invest by buying stocks of a company. Okay, the basic rules of the stock market is that the purpose of doing something like that is that the value of your stock grows based on the fact that that company will grow and expand in time or over time to the point where you're able to resell your stock for a lot more than you initially bought it for. So let's just say I buy $10,000 worth of stock of a company or a product or good, and the price, okay, the logical, okay, reason for any person doing something like that is to assume automatically or to come to a fair calculation or estimate or to make a fair estimation that the price of said goods, services, or the price of the value of said company will go up to the point where it's worth 10 times as much, let's just say, over a good deal of time. And after all of that time, I'll be able to sell, okay, my stock for $150,000 instead of the $10,000 I invested. Okay, just from that perspective, okay, shortly summarized, then yes, you'll be like, yes, cha-ching, money in the bank. That's how the stock market works from a basic perspective, for those of you that don't know how it works. Okay, this is just basic thinking. Okay, you don't need to be, I'm not a businessman or I don't have any proficiency in that field or experience, but again, this is basic thinking. This is from a neutral perspective how the stock market works, okay, as far as I know. Okay, and the drawbacks are obviously that it would take a while. We're talking about it would take years for something like that to happen. Okay, but if you want to involve the occult or bring the occult into something like this, then yes, I as an occultist would have a significant edge on the competition because I'd be able to use my occult proficiency to basically have a forecast on what would happen. And off the top of my head, I could either use astrology or I could just summon a spirit and work with the spirit. and basically seek out a spirit that, for example, seek out an angel that specializes in stock market investments and business overall. And ask that spirit, for example, my vice patron, my beloved Lord Sandalphon, Vice Lord Sandalphon, and to just ask him, hey, I want to invest, I want to do business in stock market dealings, okay? And he'd guide me towards the best kind of stocks to buy this stock, buy that stock. He would inspire me or tell me to buy these kind of stocks. Hey, buy these stocks in this company because this company is going to experience an explosion like or an exponential growth in value, and you'll be able to reap the benefits from that. That is it. Okay, that is in terms of spirit dealings. In terms of the former, like I just mentioned, astrology. Orary astrology would be able to help you. Generally speaking, transit astrology would be used to monitor everyday dealings. But if you're smart about this, again, I haven't tested this, so I don't know for sure if this is the case. But based on my knowledge and experience, what you need to do is to simply cast an orary chart. You need to take things from your perspective with, for example, the inquiry or the question, should I buy stocks from this company, and will this company meet my expectations in terms of becoming prosperous and expanding over the course of time to the point where I'll be able to resell my stock for a lot more than I initially bought. Okay, because that's your goal after all. And that orary chart should display whether or not it is a good idea and what the outcome will be and all of that. Okay, divination should cover that, and that includes the exceptions. I don't see any exception that can possibly come into play that divination doesn't take into consideration. But again, it doesn't matter. This is only in theory. I have had no chance or opportunity to test this, nor do I think that I ever will. Okay, but in any case, that's theoretically how it would work. So that's it for astrology, and that's how it would be for spirit dealings. The benefit obviously is that you could become legitimately wealthy within one's lifetime, if that is your goal. We're talking about really wealthy. The drawback is that it's going to take a while. It's going to take a significant amount of time from a neutral perspective. Even with spirit dealings or using one's occult proficiency. And now here it comes. Okay, in terms of personal reasons for why I dismiss the idea. I dismiss the idea simply due to the fact that even if I were to use my occult skills to get involved in the stock market as a businessman, the reason that I don't want to do so is because it would take too long. And I'm someone, if you know me, God, you'll know how impatient I am. I'm one of the most impatient people that you'll meet, okay? For me, everything has to happen as quickly as possible, and everything has to happen now. If you want to agitate me, if you want to get me agitated, or if you want to annoy me, all you have to do is just prolong something. And that's when I'll get annoyed. I just hate it so much. I want everything now, and I want it as quickly as possible. I freely and openly admit that that is one of my drawbacks, personality-wise or character-wise. Patience is a virtue, and patience is really one hell of a virtue for me. It is one of my weak spots, or weak points in my personality. One hell of a kink in my personality, or a dent. In any case, that's the reason for why I dismiss the idea. Again, I don't doubt the fact that I'd be successful, but no thank you. There are plenty of other ventures and ventures that yield immediate or near immediate success for me, and that are still worth my time, okay, financially speaking, to the point where I make a lot of money. So no issues regarding that. Again, like I just said, my personal reasons for me not wanting to do this, for example, get involved in the stock market and use my occult skill to get an edge on the competition, is simply due to the fact that it would take too long. If I were to invest in a company or any product or good, I would have to wait, okay, for that product, good or company to increase in value. Okay, like I just said in the beginning of the video, that's the basic of how the stock market works or operates. That's how it works at a basic level. And even with all of my occult proficiency, with spirit involvements and stuff like that, again, it would still take a while. It would take, at the earliest, it would take years, to be honest, unless you're lucky to the point where for example, the price of sugar worldwide or a local brand of sugar in your country of residence is about to experience one hell of a growth, a spike growth wise. Okay, it's going to increase significantly, just like that, or something similar. Again, it is not recommended. I just those are very rare instances, but generally speaking, no, it's not a good idea. Okay, investing in something is going to take years to yield any kind of results. We're talking about at least a year or 2 or 3 in order for you to notice any kind of growth. And if you really want to cash in on any kind of success, then you're going to have to wait longer than those years. Again, simple example, I invest in a company, the company is a startup company. Okay, I'd have to wait for that company to become valuable, to expand over time. Okay, assuming that will indeed happen, but that's where my occult proficiency comes in play. People that aren't proficient in the occult just use calculative estimates. People that are mathematically inclined and simply study the stock market and make an estimation, but in reality they still have no idea. All they can do is make an estimated guess, or a more than fair guess or assumption, but they don't have any real edge or any real calculator system that is near foolproof like I do as an occultist. In any case, I'd invest in said company, let's just say something minor, $1,000. I'd have to wait, for example, a decade for that company to grow and expand its customer base and thereby become more valuable and all of that. And only then would my stock be worth maybe 20 times as much, $20,000, $25,000, and I'd sell it by, let's just say I'd be able to sell it for $35,000, $10,000 extra, by explaining to someone in short that the company will keep growing and that he'll be able to make a lot more money in the long run if he buys my stock at $10,000 plus what it's worth originally, which is $25,000, so $35,000 total. Again, I simply drove up the price. Success for me. My investment initially 10 years ago was $1,000, and now it's $35,000. Again, that is what I'm trying to explain here, or not trying to, but that's what I'm explaining here. It's $35,000. Okay. My point simply is, it's $35,000, right? But look at how long I have to wait. I have to wait a decade. If I am, let's just say I'm 32 years old right now. If I get to doing it when I'm 35, then I'd only be able to reap the benefits of it when I'm 45 years old. And that's not, I despise waiting, just like I said. So that's the personal reason. That's the main personal reason for why I saw off of this idea. Simply put, you can compare it to opening up a savings account in a bank, okay, and simply depositing a good portion of money and leaving it there untouched, okay, and just let the bank do its thing and give you interest, the annual agreed interest, okay, in your bank agreement contract, okay, and so you can see for yourself how long you'd have to wait, okay, in reality. How long would you have to wait if you open up a savings account and you deposited a certain amount of money? What the bank is going to do, obviously, is that the bank is going to use your money to take care of their own dealings and so on. If you were to deposit $10,000, the bank would, for example, give you a good interest rate on an annual basis, and you'd only be able to reap the benefits from it, let's just say half a century down the road, when you're completely old and you're near retirement age, when you've hit 60 plus as an adult. Maybe not even then. I think you'd honestly be on your deathbed, okay, by the time that the money actually becomes worth something, that $10,000 actually turns into $80,000, for example. It's just not worth it, okay? Okay, it's the same thing. Bank deposits, savings deposits, or approximately the same, thing as investments, stock market investments. So it's just for me personally, it's absolutely not doable. Okay, I want everything as quickly as possible, and I want it now. In any case, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and this was just an explanation on for anybody that had the idea on what it would be like, what you can expect. But even for those of you that haven't come across this idea, I hope that it was still interesting for you guys to hear about. In any case, it can be done realistically, okay? Investing in the stock market and thereby utilizing the occult to get the most out of it. It is doable, just like I explained. But again, point one, you'd have to wait a good while. You'd have to wait a really long time in order for it to become worth something. And point two, you'd have to be willing to invest a good portion, of course. The average person that makes, let's just say that belongs to the economic middle class, will have to save up money for a year, I think, or something. You'd have to save up money that you can buy a car with or something in cash in order to make a solid investment, a worthwhile investment in the stock market. That's it in my case. Bye.